Yep. You're good.
In an effort to follow CDC guidelines and to protect public health during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Board of Zoning Adjustment encourages you to utilize the online YouTube streaming by visiting our city webpage at www.decaturalabamausa.com. The seating in council chambers is limited to 10 from the public, where the 6 foot in separation will be administered. Therefore, a call list may be necessary to allow only the ones speaking on a particular agenda to be admitted. Anyone who is sick or is living with a quarantined family member should not attend the meeting. The meeting is open to the public using YouTube streaming as mentioned earlier. 1 minute will be allowed after the agenda item is read for you to email the building department at building@decatur-al.gov with your name, address, and a phone number to call you back during the meeting. The Board of Zoning Adjustments of the City of Decatur is now in session. You are before the Board of Zoning Adjustments today seeking special consideration to an ordinance based on special conditions, or the literal enforcement of an ordinance will result in an unnecessary hardship for you, or there's been an error in the enforcement of the ordinance. It will require 4 favorable votes from the Board to approve any request presented today. All cases will be heard in the docketed order. Please call the roll.
Delane Dean.
Here.
Stephen Thomas.
Here.
Susanna Cecita.
Here.
Charles Taylor.
Here.
Have 4.
Are there any corrections to the minutes of last month's meeting?
None noted.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All approved say aye.
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 So moved. Please call the first case.
Case number 1, application to appeal of Alejandro Gabriel Juarez for determination as use permitted on appeal, section 2510 of the zoning ordinance, to have an administrative office for a foundation repair business located at 1508 8th Street Southwest. Properties located in R2 Single Family Zoning District.
Pásale. Le van a pedir que en el micrófono diga su nombre y su dirección, por favor. I'm asking him to state his name and his address.
Okay.
Sí, diga su nombre.
Sí, muy buenos días a todos.
Yeah. ¿Puedo hablar más fuerte? Yo le traduzco si quiere. Dígame a mí si quiere, yo lo pongo. ¿Prefiere que yo hable al micrófono?
Tal vez, si puedes. Muy buenos días a todos.
Good morning to everybody.
Morning.
En primer lugar, yo soy Alejandro Gabriel Juárez.
His name is Alejandro Gabriel Juarez.
Mi dirección es 1508 8TH ST, Decatur, Alabama.
And his address is 1508 8th Street Southwest.
35601.
35601.
Mi teléfono se lo puede
Está bien, vamos
dar.
It will take 4 favorable votes,
a- Okay, que tiene que tener 4 votos.
and we only have 4 members here.
Y nada más habemos 4 el día de hoy.
Okay.
So if you would like to move it to next month, you can, or you can present today.
Que le dan opción para, como nada, miren, por la situación que estamos ahorita no todo el mundo está a atender, ¿verdad? Somos 4 de los que estamos aquí que vamos a votar. Entonces, para que le apruebe su caso, los 4 tenemos que decir que sí.
Okay.
Puede tomar su riesgo, como quien dice, que los 4 lo escuchemos hoy, o puede pasarlo al próximo mes, como usted quiera. Le están dando la opción.
Y
Si el próximo mes podemos estar 6, y a lo mejor si 2 dicen que no, todavía tiene 4, ¿sí me explico? O puede decir, usted cree que...
entonces más bien el día de hoy, o sea, no se puede, ¿verdad?
Sí se puede, sí
Sí
se
se
puede,
puede.
nada más
Sí.
sí se puede. Si usted quiere, nada más que tenemos que estar de acuerdo los 4.
Sí,
Eso es todo.
está.
Okay, he would like to proceed.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
All right. 1 room in his house for administrative purposes for foundation business.
And I'm going to let somebody else do the questions since I'm translating, so
Okay.
I can focus on this, okay? I'll
All right.
Normalmente hago preguntas, no voy a hacer preguntas, voy a estar traduciendo.
Okay.
Does he have any employees?
Sí, si tiene empleados usted.
No, por el momento no, apenas estoy. Sigue empezando, no tengo nada, absolutamente nada.
Okay, he has nothing.
Okay.
No,
Will you
no
explain to
puede-
him he cannot have employees?
Ajá, no puede tener empleados, okay?
Sí.
Entonces, para que sepa usted, pues no es que no pueda tener empleados en su compañía, no puede tener empleados que vengan a su casa.
Sí, sí, sí.
¿Ya me expliqué?
Sí.
Ok.
If you want to go ahead and explain signs and
Yeah.
customers,
Yeah.
is that okay? Just-
Sure.
Ok, entonces le vamos a explicar que para que usted pueda tener una oficina administrativa en su casa, sus empleados no pueden venir o encontrarlo en su casa, es lo primero, ¿ok? Usted, por ejemplo, puede tener una camioneta, pero la camioneta no puede tener la dirección de su casa, ¿ok? Puede tener el teléfono de su negocio para estar caminando, la camioneta puede estar estacionada afuera de su casa, pero no puede andar paseándose con cosas que digan que es un negocio en su propiedad, ¿ok?
Sí, sí.
Ok, si va a ver con sus empleados que tenga usted, los tiene que ver afuera de su casa. Tampoco puede tener juntas ahí y nada de eso. Nada más como que es una oficina para usted para llevar sus papeles.
Así es.
Ok, all right. I just gave him the general rundown.
The questions from the board?
No.
Just a clarification on the employees. He can have employees, they just cannot report to his home.
Correct. I did
Okay,
tell
you
him
did
that.
tell him
Yes,
that.
I
Okay.
didn't translate back what I said, and I probably should.
No,
Just
that's
for the
fine.
record, I explained to him about the, if he could have a vehicle, he should not have any signs on the vehicle. He could have his phone number, but not the address.
Correct.
I told him what, Mr. Charles just said about the vehicles and stuff, the employees. He can have employees, but not visiting his house. What else did we talk about? Even the appearance that there's a business, like if he has a truck and, stuff that he's carrying and does not disturb the neighborhood, in general, so,
I think we're good.
Yeah.
okay?
Questions from the public? Questions for the building department?
What did he say
Comments.
about his equipment as far as for the business? Where does he keep
I
it?
just gave him the general rundown, I didn't ask him. El equipo de su, con el que trabaja, ¿dónde lo tiene? O cómo-
Por el momento no tengo, yo sé que ese trabajo no lleva tantos material más
¿Qué
que
tipo
todo.
de negocio es?
Es como fundaciones, las casas que están desniveladas, entonces yo lo quiero nivelar, levantar.
Ok.
Sí.
¿Y no ocupa herramientas?
No mucho, sí.
Porque
Y-
es más como que construcción o...
Sí, ese es como tipo de
Okay.
construcción.
He said, let me stop here so I can see if anybody can ask the question a better way. He is telling me that he doesn't have anything right now, no materials, nothing whatsoever. So I asked him if he's planning on buying equipment or something of the sort. He said really he doesn't need that much equipment for what he does.
Right, what kind of equipment would he use?
He said none. And so that's what I was like, I don't know much
How
about.
do you do foundations without
Exactly. That was,
equipment?
but I don't know, I'm not the expert, so I stopped
Yeah.
right there. So,
Would he need a mini excavator to dig out a foundation to raise it? Would
Okay.
he need, does he require, some of them use a foam injection kind of a thing to raise foundation up?
okay.
Is it that kind of a system or is?
Or maybe that's not the type of business that he's
Yes.
thinking. Okay. Okay, una pregunta. Él es obviamente inspector de construcción,
Sí, sí,
¿verdad?
sí,
Y
sí.
sabe, yo no sé. Él está pensando que para hacer realmente lo que es levantar la base, ¿verdad? de un edificio, usted va a necesitar ocupar equipo en algún momento dado. Entonces, y me explicó el tipo de equipo que a lo mejor puede ser para levantar, como quien dice, los lugares donde se va a trabajar. ¿Qué tipo de, qué es lo que realmente sucede?
Bueno, yo trabajaba con un señor, entonces lo que usamos son como los jack, como se le dicen,
Ajá, los
jack
jacks.
spear, algo así.
Ajá.
Solo levantar y las casas que están hundidas, entonces nosotros lo nivelamos. Eso es el único.
Ok, el
Sí.
jack, usted va a ocupar
Sí,
un jack.
ese es el único que ocupamos.
Ok, ¿y
más.
dónde lo va a guardar?
Ese lo
¿Es
puede.
grande?
No, son pequeños.
Okay, he said the guy that he used to work for, and he's planning on doing something similar, they just use jacks to raise the
Right.
foundations.
Yeah, but how do they get underneath the foundations? Is it like crawl spaces or is he doing
Sí,
it on the
es como-
footers on the
como
outside?
El que dijo él. el cross.
For crawl spaces.
For crawl
Yeah.
spaces, so
Yeah.
he's crawling into the house, he won't require any large equipment.
Correct, that's
And
what,
what equipment he does have, he can keep inside
he
of
can
his,
keep inside his house,
in his
yes.
garage or whatever, just.
I guess we were thinking big foundation.
Well,
thing, he
they
just-
do have some that run off a mini excavator that has a little
Right.
jack
Yes.
that goes on the end of the spool, and it'll help raise that foundation up. So there's many ways to get the foundation
Yes.
done, but if all he's using is piers jacking up the piers underneath the house.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's
a lot
doing.
of labor and smaller things you can buy, so.
Correct.
We just didn't want him storing large equipment in his home, like mini excavators and skid steers and backhoes
Y
and dump
me
trucks.
está explicando que, por ejemplo, si usted fuera a hacerlo con más equipo que con fuerza, entonces necesitaría ocupar excavadoras, necesitaría ocupar cosas para levantar, ¿sí me entiende?
Sí.
Todo eso, y entonces ya entendió que usted nada más se va a poner la parte de abajo y es más trabajo manual y menos máquinas.
Así
Pero,
es.
¿verdad?
Sí, es
Pero me está diciendo que se asegure que si más adelante o ahorita, si usted vamos a decir, va a ocupar ese tipo de cosas, no las puede guardar en su casa.
Ujú, sí,
¿Ok?
sí.
Se va a tener
claro.
que rentar un lugar para
Un lugar
guardar.
donde apropiado para eso. Sí,
Okay.
así
He
es.
understands that. He said if
Okay.
he does,
And
he
then-
knows that he has to have a separate place to store all that stuff.
Right, and the foundation work does require a permit from the building department
Yes.
to do that work.
Okay, y le dice que sepa que para poder hacer ese tipo de trabajo, le tiene que pedir un permiso a nuestro departamento también
Ah,
de
sí.
construcción,
Así es.
okay, especial para poder hacer ese tipo de trabajo. Okay?
Sí, eso es lo que quiero. Eso es el...
Primero esto y después es otro tipo de aplicación la que usted quiere. ¿Usted piensa que está aquí para tener una oficina en su casa o piensa que está aquí para pedir un permiso
Para hacer ese trabajo. Un permiso para hacer ese trabajo.
Ok, pero no necesita un permiso para hacer las oficinas administrativas?
Ah,
¿También? ¿En su casa va a hacer sus papeles?
Sí, en
Ok,
mi casa, sí.
Ok, entonces de una vez termine este proceso para que tenga su casa de una vez para que le sirva de oficina.
ujú, sí.
Ok, y ya va a tener que hacer otro proceso para poder para pedir el permiso. ¿Ok?
Ok.
¿Sí?
Entonces estoy mal, entonces.
Pues no mal, también
Sí.
necesita esto. Ok, so it's happened before.
Okay,
He obviously was thinking that he was getting he was applying for the permit to so
right,
he
okay.
can work.
Yeah, I didn't have a license.
Exactly,
Right,
to have a
okay.
license. And I told him this is not the type of meeting.
Okay.
But I asked him if he still wanted to proceed, if he wanted to use the office in his house.
Right.
Or not, you
Right.
know. He said he wants to go on
Okay,
and
that's
have
good.
that. And I told him that's a separate process.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
yeah, just as long as he knows it, that
It's two
required.
different things.
So he does, okay.
Yeah. Entonces este no es para eso, pero
Ok.
le puedo ayudar a llenar los papeles, ¿ok?
Está bien, gracias.
Ok.
All right, good show, that's it.
Any comments from the planning?
When you call for the public, you give the email address and wait a minute for people to email.
Okay.
Yeah, the actual
BOZA questions.
BOZA questions is
Sí,
decatur-al.
usted quiere permiso para su licencia, para
Sí,
hacer el trabajo.
Eso es lo que quiero.
Ujú.
All
Eso
one
es lo
word,
que
those are
necesito
questions.
Yes.
Y yo pensaba
Nobody's
que era,
emailed me. I
era
only
esa-
got the other one too.
Ahorita le pregunto,
I
él
get
es
both.
inspector cuando tiene su trabajo.
Ah, sí, sí.
Ok, entonces ahorita lo malo que va a
Say that
tener que
again.
acabar la sesión.
BOZA questions.
Yep.
Pero yo con todo gusto ahorita,
Dash
si me deja usted, tenemos un teléfono aquí, ¿verdad?
Sí, ahí viene.
Apúntelo aquí y le llamamos.
Comments from the planning department?
No comments.
There being no further comments, this is open for a motion. I forgot that page of my script.
Madam Chair, I offer motion for the approval for Mr. Warris to use a room in his home for home for administrative purpose.
You have a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Delane Dean,
Yes.
Stephen Thomas.
Yes.
Charles Taylor.
Yes.
Susanna
¿Puedo tomar
Cecil.
asiento?
Yes.
All right,
Si puede-
You've been approved.
Se puede, yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
you take this to the revenue department.
Okay.
Like, just go right there, right now, and get his license.
Oh, okay. Vaya para allá. Okay. Is it second floor?
It's right through there,
Ok,
that way.
de derecho para allá, en el departamento de revenue para acá.
Top to south.
Ok.
¿Sí?
Ok.
Si necesitan ayuda, yo le llamo al rato que salga.
Please call the next case.
Derecho,
Literally.
derecho,
It's
para
gotta
allá.
be down.
Vaya de una vez, ¿ok?
Yes.
No, aquí ya está aprobado.
But I forgot the one page of my script.
Case two,
Yeah, I'm gonna bring in both of them.
okay.
Aquí usted
All right,
está bien, puede ocupar
Case
sus
two.
oficinas.
Case 2.
Case two is Don Donald for a use permitted on appeal section 2510 of the zoning ordinance to have an administrative office for a lawn care service, or a lawn care business located at 442 11th Avenue Northwest, property located in R3, single family zoning district. And we'll wait on him.
No me van a cobrar como
Ahorita
cuando.
lo único que
Mr. Donovan? Mr. Donovan? Just wait for him to leave the podium and step on up.
Sí, sería más mejor. Sí, sería mejor. Sería mejor.
Ándale,
Sí.
gracias.
Vamos.
Mr. Donald, if you'll tell us your name and your address and what it is you're asking this board to do for you.
My name is Don Donald. I live at 442 11th Avenue Northwest, Decatur, Alabama. And I'm just trying to start a lawn care business, and I need an office in my home.
Is the homeowner aware, the property owner aware that you're doing this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Normally, we do all of this ahead of time, so bear with me, but there's a few things as a home office that you have to know. You can have employees. They cannot report to your house unless they already live at your house. They'll have to meet you at the job site or at Hardee's or wherever you want to buy them breakfast every morning. You can have signs on your trucks, on your equipment. It cannot list your address. It can have your name, your phone number, email, Facebook, anything but your home address.
All right.
You cannot have customers come to your house.
Okay.
Again, you'll have to meet them if you want to, meet them to talk about a job. You'll have to meet them off-site from your home. What kind of storage are you going to have for your inventories? What kind of equipment are you going to have?
Just lawnmowers, trailer, which I keep in a storage unit.
Okay,
On Central.
just normal.
Yeah, just normal mowers.
That's it for me. Any questions from the board?
I have none.
No question.
4 votes.
Oh, thank you. You do have to have 4 favorable votes for approval, and today there are only 4 of us here.
Okay.
If you would like to postpone until next month, when there should be 5 people here, you can, or you can go ahead and put it for a ruling today. And
Today'd be fine.
okay. All right. Comments from the public? Any comments can be emailed to BOZA questions at decatur-al.gov with your name, telephone number, and an email address.
How long are we gonna give them?
1 minute.
1 minute.
You don't have to just hold on. We want to move forward.
Just don't know how long a minute is.
Just like a regular session. Okay?
Yeah, it is a public hearing, so we have to give the public a chance to respond and ask questions.
Just give us a second. You're still here.
This is a first for us to have to do it this way. I feel like we need the Jeopardy music playing during the a minute.
We did 3 minutes plan, second turn. I've got nothing.
Okay. All right. No comments from the public. Comments from the building department.
No comment.
Comments from the planning department.
No comment.
There being no further comments, this case is brought forward for a ruling. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Stephen Thomas,
Yes.
Charles Taylor,
Yes.
Susanna Cecile,
Yes.
Lane Dean.
Yes, you have been approved.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Just go out that way. Over that middle part. Over there in front of the police.
All right. Thank you.
Please call the next case.
Next case, case number 3, Donovan Wheeler for determination as a use permitted on Appeal Section 2510 of the zoning ordinance to have an administrative office for a lawn care business located at 1502 North Meade Street Southwest. Property is located in R2 Single Family residential district.
Okay, I'm gonna go call, literally call case 3.
Okay.
He's out here. See if you like.
Well, he's ready.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, he's ready to go. Let's go ahead and
And state your name, your address, and what it is you would like for this board to do for you.
I'm Donovan Wheeler, and I live at 1502 North Meade Street, Southwest, and I'm trying to open my own lawn service.
Okay. Sorry. As stated earlier, it will require 4 favorable votes from the board to approve your request. There's only 4 members present, so that means everybody has to be unanimous. If you would like to postpone until next month, when there'll be 5, you can, or you can go ahead and present today and get a ruling.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay. All right. Along with that, there are things involved with having a home occupancy that I want to review. If you have employees, they cannot report to your house. You'll have to meet them, at the job site. You can have signs on your truck, on your mowers, on whatever, but they can't have your address on it. They can have phone number, email, Facebook, any of that, just not your address. Customers cannot come to your house.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of inventory and supplies are you going to keep at your house for your business?
Just lawnmower, rakes, weed eaters, blowers, just the typical.
Typical.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a trailer?
Yes, ma'am, I have a trailer.
Okay. Are you storing it at your house as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you can, because your neighbors could have a trailer for something they're doing, at their house.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it from me. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Good.
Comments from the public should be emailed to BOZA questions@decatur-al.gov, and please include your name and phone number and your question with your email. Because it is a public hearing, we have to give the public a chance to respond, so we have a minute kind
All
of
right.
delay here where we give anybody a chance to email questions.
Okay.
We could keep a little game flip, a little sand.
yeah.
We're good.
All right, 1 minute.
All right. Comments from the building department?
No comments.
Comments from the planning department?
No comment.
There being no further comments, this case is brought forward to the board for a ruling. Do we have a motion?
Madam Chair, I offer a motion for the approval for Mr. Wheeler to use 1 room in his home for an office for his lawn service.
Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Susanna Salcido,
Here? Yes. Sorry.
Charles
Here
Taylor,
and yes.
Yes.
Elaine Dean.
Yes.
Stephen Thomas.
Yes.
You have been approved.
I feel like I was in school.
Back in 5th grade.
Yes, sorry.
All right, the next one is Miss Ward. I hope she's watching. Fix to give her a phone call. Yeah.
This is the same applicant. There's no reason you can't just both of them together with the same time.
I need to know what it is.
Let's see how this goes.
This is Mariala.
This Mary Ward?
It is.
This is Robert Sims with the Building Department. You're live right now with the board.
Great.
Just need you to state your name and address, and then what the board, what you
Sure.
like the board.
It's Mary Ward, and my address is 2209 Fleetwood Drive, Southeast.
All right, let me back up and punch, because I didn't read what you were asking for. On case number 4, you're asking for a use permit on appeal, section 2510 of the zoning ordinance, to have an administrative office for a consulting business at 2209 Fleetwood Drive, and you are also asking for, on case 5, for a software business, administrative office for a software business located at the same address. And so what they'll do is, we'll break these up and y'all can vote separately on those, but I guess we want to take up case 4 first.
Do them together.
We can go to-
Okay,
I guess unless there's a reason we feel like we need to.
all right. So,
Ms. Ward, there are only 4 board members here today, and it does take 4 favorable votes to get approval. If you would like to defer until next month, when there'll be 5, you can, or you can go ahead and present your cases today, knowing that you have to get a unanimous vote from the board. So would you like to proceed, or would you like to defer?
I'd like to go ahead and proceed.
Okay. Can you tell us on both of these cases exactly what it is you're going to be doing?
Sure. So Horizon Point Consulting, which is case 4, has been a business that I've had a business license for in the city of Decatur for 8-9 years, and originally operated that business out of an address on Market Street, and then moved to a home office. So I've had a business license for it. When I went to get the new business license for MatchFit, which is a software business, realized that I needed to switch Horizon Point over as well. So that's why there's 2 there. One is an established business, one is new. The Horizon Point business is HR consulting and leadership development training. So most of our business, if not all of it, is we're on a client site conducting consulting and or facilitating training. And then MatchFit is actually an offshoot of Horizon Point. We realized the need to help our clients automate some of their selection processes, and so it's an online software tool that helps match employers to employees. So it's all online and operated as such.
Do you have any employees?
Horizon Point does. Horizon Point has 3 full-time employees besides myself, so 4 total.
And where do those employees show up to work?
They have home offices, none of them live in Decatur. One's in Hartsville, one's in, and 2 are in Huntsville.
Do your employees meet directly at the job site?
do it now?
They work from their own.
Right,
Yeah.
so, okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
as long as
that's
you're not
really me.
showing up to her house to.
No.
Okay.
No.
Not used to
No,
established
they have-
businesses being,
You know.
Yeah, they work remotely from their homes, and then of course spend just as I do most of their time on a client site if
okay.
it's in person.
With these 2, this is Stephen Thomas, with these 2 applications, I'm taking it that you're planning to use just one room for, both businesses will be operated out of the one room in your house for the office.
Yes, that's correct. I have a home office with a computer and desk
Okay,
and operate out of that space.
thank you.
You said you meet most of your customers at their site, or I'm sure on the phone or email or that type of thing. Really don't have inventory and supplies, I would imagine, other than normal office supplies.
That's correct.
Any questions from the
You know,
board?
Mariana, this is Charles Taylor. Do you have business cards or advertising?
I'm sorry, say that
How,
again?
how do you advertise?
Mainly online and through word of mouth.
Just the address.
Both businesses are very relationship driven, so it's taking people to lunch, networking events, emailing, those kinds of things.
Yeah, well, as long as the advertisements that you do use doesn't have your actual home address on
No, we have a PO box.
That's,
Okay.
we're good.
Yeah.
Any more questions from the board?
No question.
I'll put it to the board whether y'all want to vote on these separately or do one consolidated vote for both cases.
I'll make
think we'll go together.
after comments, I'll make a motion to do both at the same
Okay.
time.
All right. I mean, no more questions from the board. Questions or comments from the public should be emailed to bozaquestions@decatur-al.gov. If you email in a question, please include your name and a phone number and your question or comment in detail. Starting now.
Are you watching this on the live stream?
No, I was never able to get it to pull up.
Oh, that's encouraging.
It probably is user error. It's probably not
Okay.
your fault.
Ms. Ward, because it is a public hearing, we're giving a minute for anybody from the
Sure.
public to email any questions, so that's kind of why
Sure.
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering what the show looked like, and whether we was going to be picked up for a second season or not.
Makes
I
a lot of
guarantee you,
sense
we're not
during
gonna
these
go
times.
viral.
Probably best that you don't look at it.
We'll get a few
Please.
viewers.
All right, any comments from the building department?
No comments.
Comments from the planning department?
No comment.
There being no further comments, this case is brought forward for a motion, or brought forward for ruling. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, since these two companies are at the same address with the same applicant, I've moved that both be approved as submitted.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Being a motion and a second, please call the roll for approval on case number 4 and case number 5.
Charles Taylor,
Yes.
Susanna Saucedo,
Yes.
Lane Dean.
Yes.
Stephen Thomas.
Yes.
You have been approved.
And there's a little form that we have for you for these two.
Okay.
I'm going to send these over to the revenue department, and they'll be down at the revenue department, so you can come in and pick up your business license.
Okay, I so appreciate you all accommodating my request to do this virtually. Given the current situation, I really do appreciate it.
Well, it was a test case, so it seems like it worked, so we thank you.
We may do it again.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Please call the next case.
Case number 6. Application appeal of Brandon Edwards for the determination as use permit on appeal for section 2510 of the zoning ordinance to have an administrative office for a lawn care business located at 805 Cedar Lake Road, property located in the R2 Single Family Zoning District.
Mr. Edwards? If you will state your name and your address and what it is you would like this board to do for you. Yes.
My name is Brandon Edwards. I stay on 805 Cedar Lake Road, Decatur, Alabama. I'm into lawn care. My father taught me how to do it, so I picked it up and decided that I wanted to go into business for myself.
Okay. Let you know, it will require 4 favorable votes to get approval today. There are only 4 of us here, so
Yes,
it will
ma'am.
have to be unanimous. You are free to present today and get, a voting on it, or you can postpone till next month when there would be 5 of us. But,
It's okay.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The other things you have to know with a home occupancy like yours, if you have employees, they cannot show up to your house to work. They'll have to meet you, at the job site.
Yes, ma'am.
You can have signs, advertising signs on your truck or car or business cards on your equipment. It just can't list your home address on it.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
name, phone number, email, Facebook, whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
Customers cannot come to your house.
Yes, ma'am.
And what kind of inventory and supplies and equipment are you planning on keeping?
Well, I've already stopped my mind. I already went and got some equipment. I went to Shows Outdoors, and they have a It's like a package deal going on right now where you get the weed eater, the blower, the Z-turn, and the trailer all together.
Okay.
And I also got an edge or two for
But
the
just
trees.
standard
just-
mowing
yes, ma'am.
equipment.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it for me. Any questions or comments from the board?
Does your landlord know that you're going to be operating a business out of your residence?
Yes, sir. He actually told me when I get my business license to come up and see him. He may have 4 or 5 yards for me to take care of all summer long.
Great.
Questions or comments from the public should be emailed to bozaquestions@decatur-al.gov. Please include your name, a phone number, and a detailed description of your question or comment. This is a public hearing. Normally, the public will be invited to come in and ask their questions. We're giving them a minute, literally a minute,
Yes, ma'am.
to email any questions in. So we just
Okay.
kind of have a dead spot here for a second.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, how we get our viewership.
That's right.
We might go viral now.
It won't be us.
You gonna teach her to mow?
I don't know. She may be a little tomboy. 1 minute. She loves hanging with her dad.
All right. Comments from the building department?
No comments.
Comments from the planning department?
No comment.
There being no further comments, this case is brought to the board for its approval. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I offer motion for the approval for Mr. Edwards' request to have 1 room in his home as a home office to be granted for his lawn service.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Being a motion and a second, please call the roll.
Stephen Thomas,
Yes.
Charles Taylor,
Yes.
Susanna Salcido,
Yes.
Elaine Dean.
Yes, you have been approved.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Good luck.
Is there anything I do from here?
Yeah, you take this through there, over to the revenue office, and get your business license. Right, go right through here, and then make a left, and that's where they're at. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Please call the next case.
Case number 7, Juan Orlando Pinzon.
It's on. Yeah, I think so. Vaquero.
Yeah. For determination as a use permit on appeal, section 2510 of the zoning ordinance, have an administrative office for a painting business located at 2208 Flicker Road Southwest. Property is located in the R2 Single Family Residential District.
Please state your name, your address, and what it is you would like for this board to do for you today.
My name is John Vaquero.
Puede ser en español.
Es 2208 Flicker RSW.
That's correct. That's his address.
Okay.
And what is it you're asking this board to do for you today?
¿Traduces o le traduzco yo?
Tú, por favor.
Sí, ok.
Gracias.
Quiere saber qué es lo que va a hacer, quiere que hagamos por usted hoy. O sea, tiene que explicarnos a qué vino.
Ok, gracias.
Y yo le
Yo trabajo en pintura,
Ujú.
pero ya me quiero
Independiente.
trabajar por mi cuenta. Entonces, ya no sé qué tengo que hacer para hacerlo, pero yo quiero hacer las cosas bien, o sea,
Sí.
todo dentro de lo legal.
Okay. I think he's intending also to get a business license for his own painting business. So, I mean, just to go ahead and.
Do you want to tell them about the four votes? make sure he wants
Ok.
to proceed.
Sí, le voy a explicar antes de que sigamos. Normalmente somos 5 que estamos aquí en este consejo. Y normalmente requiere 4 votos favorables de los 5. ¿Ok? No le estoy diciendo que no se va a poder, obviamente. Nada más le estamos dando la opción a la gente si quieren continuar con el proceso o regresar la semana que entra, el mes que entra cuando hay 5 personas que tienen chance, ¿verdad? Entonces, la mayoría de la gente ha decidido seguir adelante con esto, ¿ok? Okay, so I'm asking him questions because the first thing he said was he wanted to have a business license. He wants to be independent and have his own painting business.
Yes.
So he applied for, he wants to have a room in his home for administrative offices. So I'm gonna just.
And he does want to proceed
He does
with the
want to
four
proceed. Yeah, that's
four
for sure.
votes?
He does.
Okay.
Entonces, aquí está pidiendo que aprobemos un cuarto en su casa para que pueda tener su oficina. Y ya de ahí va a seguir al paso que va a pedir la licencia de negocio. ¿Ok?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. I explained to him that he's, what he's applying for, after that he'll go and try to get the business license. It's a different step, so. Okay? Gracias, Ahorita les seguimos haciendo las preguntas.
Okay.
Would you like to go ahead and discuss the employees and advertising and
Yes.
signage and
The work.
all of those things?
Ok, les explicamos siempre a todos que usted puede tener un cuarto destinado en su casa para su oficina administrativa. Lo que no puede hacer cuando usted haga su negocio es que sus empleados vayan a su casa y de ahí se vayan al trabajo. Usted los puede ver en un restaurante, puede ver en una gasolinera, lo que sea, pero no en su casa. Todo lo que dé una apariencia para sus vecinos de que usted está poniendo un negocio como si estuviera en una calle comercial, no lo puede hacer.
Okay.
¿Ok? Puede tener, por ejemplo, una camioneta, pero no puede tener como la dirección oficial de su negocio va a ser su casa. No puede ponerlo en tarjetas de negocios, no lo puede poner en su camioneta, en el sitio de internet, lo que sea que decida usted hacerlo. Puede tener una página de Facebook y todo ese tipo de cosas, pero no puede poner la dirección de su casa.
Okay.
Cuando usted se vaya a ver con algún cliente, lo tiene que ver en un restaurante, en algún otro lado, ¿verdad?
Okay.
Pero no en su casa.
Está bien.
Lo mismo, empleados, todo eso.
Sí.
¿Está de acuerdo?
Estoy de acuerdo.
Okay, muchas gracias. So he's in agreement with what I've
Okay.
explained, to him. Now, if you want to have specific questions for him.
Questions from the board?
I do not have.
Nope. Oh, paint supplies, I guess.
Okay, ¿dónde va a guardar sus pinturas, por ejemplo, y su equipo para?
¿Dónde lo va a guardar?
Lo va a guardar.
Yo tengo una store en la casa.
¿Tiene en su casa
Un store.
un edificio pequeño?
Sí.
He has a storage in the back of his garage. I mean, he's en su jardín?
Sí,
In
la
the
llave.
yard, in the back of the yard, in his yard.
Okay.
Okay. Tampoco amounts, right? He cannot have.
Well, yeah, just,
huge amounts.
does he buy supplies for each individual job?
Que si compra
or does he
específicas cantidades
stockpile
de pinturas
supplies?
para cada trabajo. Porque si hay un límite, si me entiende, no puede agarrar y comprar todo Home Depot y guardarlo en su casa.
No.
Okay, all right.
No, se va comprando a medida que uno va trabajando.
Okay, he said he's buying at
As
the
needed.
speed that, the job comes, or at, the way the job comes.
Exactly.
I told him he couldn't buy the whole Home Depot store and keep it at his
Yeah.
house. I was just,
Any other questions from the board?
No question.
no question.
Questions or comments from the public should be emailed to bozaquestions@decatur-al.gov. Please include your name, phone number, and a good description of your question or your comment.
Vamos a esperar un minuto, porque normalmente en esta junta la gente puede llegar aquí y hacer preguntas. Entonces lo estamos haciendo por internet, puede ser famoso. Y después les damos un minuto para que nos manden sus preguntas. Si no tienen preguntas o alguien se opone, entonces ya seguimos, ¿ok?
Okay.
Un segundito. Gracias.
I think that's it.
Comments from the building department?
What about like scaffolding, ladders,
Good
like a
question.
lot, how much equipment does he have?
Ok, que quiere saber cuánto equipo tiene. En específico está preguntando por las plataformas que ocupan. Ya ve cómo arman ustedes para pintar lugares lejos.
Skyfall.
Ajá.
Sí, tengo juegos de Skyfall, la esplayadora, rodillos,
Okay.
bueno, rulos llaman, los
Sí. He has rollers and he does have a scaffold.
brochas.
Yeah, I mean, is it like a trailer pool or is it just?
¿Como
a-
cuánto tiene? Que si es un trailer lleno o si es poquito nada?
No, es poco. Yo apenas estoy empezando.
Okay, he said he doesn't have much, he's just starting. He's just, ¿como cuántos? ¿Como cuántos pisos puede armar usted con sus
Los
scaffolds?
Skyfall, tres niveles.
He can do 3 level.
3 levels?
Mhm.
Is it, when he breaks it down, can he get it all in one trailer and then make the trailer behind the house? We just don't want to, you know, there's a lot of equipment, you know, if you
Correct.
store that equipment off-site where it doesn't look like there's business going on.
Ok, que está diciendo que si cuando usted lo desarma, que si lo puede poner en la parte de atrás y trailer todo en una sola, ¿cómo
Sí,
se dice?
sí.
Okay, so he can put it all in the trailer. I'm going to continue with the other. Que dice que no puede dar la apariencia de que es negocio. Entonces, vamos a decir sus vecinos. Lo que estamos protegiendo ahorita aquí es que los vecinos no piensen que una zona residencial ya se vuelve una zona comercial, ¿de acuerdo? Entonces, por eso le está haciendo. Entonces, nada más tiene. ¿cómo cabe en
Allergies,
un trailer?
for the record.
Sí, pequeño.
Uh-huh. He said he's little and it all fits in the
Okay.
trailer.
Yeah, as long as whatever, if he gets to acquiring more or something like that, you know,
Mhm.
he might consider a
A storage.
storage facility. You know, if he gets where he's doing larger jobs and he maybe eventually gets some employees to help him, you know.
Stuff out and whatever.
Right,
Yes, I got
right.
it.
He could still have his home administration, his office there, but his equipment and stuff would have to be off-site.
Correct.
That
Okay.
is, the larger he gets.
Yes, yes. Mira, tú te acuerdas para que lo recuerdes. Que si usted empieza a crecer en su negocio, va a tener que adquirir más equipo para poder cumplir como quien dice con los requerimientos de su trabajo. Entonces, sí vamos a decir que necesita 3, 4 más y tiene que, están pesados, no lo puede subir y bajar solo, necesita que sus empleados le ayuden, etcétera. En ese momento, tiene que tomar la decisión de mover sus cosas a una unidad diferente, a un storage. Todavía puede tener su dirección de su casa como la oficial para su negocio. Eso no puede ser su correo,
Sí, sí.
etcétera, ¿verdad? Entonces, a donde le llegan las cuentas. Pero lo que no puede hacer es traer a sus empleados a que vengan para allá, salgan, etcétera. ¿Sí me explico?
Sí, sí, sí.
Okay, gracias. He's understanding that.
Okay.
Comments from the planning department?
No comment.
There being no further comments, this case is brought to the board for ruling. Do I have a motion?
Madam
Motion.
Chair?
Approve.
Yes. Second.
I mean, a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Susanna Salcedo,
Yes.
Elaine Dean,
Yes,
Stephen Thomas.
Yes.
Charles Taylor.
Yes.
you have been approved.
Gracias, lo aprobamos. Le va a dar un papel, y con ese papel usted puede pasar aquí derecho, va para allá el departamento de Revenue, lo buscas, lo diga Revenue ahí, y ahí va a aplicar por su licencia de negocio.
Okay.
¿Ok? Muchas gracias, buena
Ok.
suerte con su negocio.
Muchas gracias por la oportunidad.
Ah, claro, qué bueno. Bueno, muy buena suerte. Gracias.
Gracias. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. ¿Para allá? ¿Por allá sale? ¿Do they go out this way?
Either way.
Ah, okay.
All right.
And apparently, case number 8 did not show up.
He is not here. I'll read it and we can vote to.
Move it.
or
Should we move it to
dismiss
the end?
Or dismiss it to the end. Case 9 is gone.
Right.
Uh-huh.
It's off.
Case
Okay.
nine's been pulled.
Yeah, they pulled it last week, so. Case 8, application appeal of Portland Cerno for determination that the use permit appeal section 113 of the zoning ordinance to have a temporary occupancy snowball business located at 2021 West Meade Street, Southwest property located in M1A Expressway Commercial District.
And we have called,
He's not here.
I would think with the current situation, a snowball stand might be inappropriate, so he may.
He might have thought the same thing and waited.
Maybe it would be allowed to be open.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to call a couple of times, and I got him once and lost his signal with him, and I couldn't get him back. I was going to try to let him know the procedure we're going through, but I
Yes.
couldn't get him.
I just don't see him trying to proceed under these circumstances, but, I mean.
He can come back and file again
Right.
at a later date. I mean, I don't know his circumstance, I don't know what caused him not to be here.
Right.
So,
Correct.
we may want to give that a little points.
Can we dismiss it, or, dismiss it, can
Okay.
we postpone it?
Can we make a motion
Well,
to,
we could just dismiss it, and then if he decides to come back, we can
Give
invite
them
him
a
back
little
up.
leeway.
do we need a motion to dismiss it?
Yes.
It almost seems like if people sat in their cars, because the snow's coming down.
Well, it'd be like any other curbside service
Yeah.
going on, really.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I move we dismiss this case due to lack of attendance by the applicant. that is.
With the stipulation, he can't come back if he's so,
Well,
He can
he'll be able to
reapply
come back. We're
anytime.
just gonna- he's always able to come back.
Right.
right, without
We may
reapplying.
have
We
we
just-
may have amend the procedure. We'll have
We
to
just-
understand circumstances.
Right.
Dismiss it from this agenda.
We'll just have to understand circumstances why he didn't come, if he does indeed show back up.
Okay.
Okay,
And we'll figure
Do we
it out.
have a second?
second. Dismiss it.
Please call the roll.
Elaine Dean,
Yes.
Stephen Thomas.
Yes.
Charles Taylor.
Yes.
Susanna Saucedo.
Yes.
That's it.
Case number 9 has been dismissed. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Do we have to, some other business?
If we got some other business.
Within the BOZA meeting, or is
Yes.
this an after?
And let me make this came to me on the last one, which I'm sure is a lot of help. Next month, if we're still doing this, what I would suggest is do the, if you got any questions, call in, then take questions from the board.
Right.
They can be calling in.
So they have
taking those
time.
Questions, and you won't have to have that minute of dead time.
Okay.
I thought about that too. Yeah.
Did you have something? No, I want to take 5 minutes. Bob worked really hard this past week trying to put a meeting together under these circumstances. We've tried to do the same through the planning department and the city council meetings. And the whole point is to do what we can to provide the separation that's needed and necessary, comply with all the guidelines that's going on for the safety of our community and y'all and our employees. So with all that in mind, each of these 3 meetings operate totally different. They're very similar, but then they're totally different in the way that people come and go and address it. So I want to thank Bob for putting a lot of effort into it. I bugged him during the week, and but it was a thought process that we wanted to get out and y'all kind of think about. What we're planning on doing now, going forward, to adopt something like Chip's talking about and some improvements. But the one thing relative to the meeting, we'll keep the meeting essentially as we've done it today, okay? We'll put the other options always on hold. They're out there if we want to look at it down the road. We are not sure, it was intended to be simply during this time span. But what we're learning and we're trying to adapt and adopt as we go through this is challenging all of our folks to not look at this as short term. And there are things that we kind of like doing a certain way, and let's adopt those, if it makes sense. So we're doing, yeah, we're looking, because this may be longer than 30 days. It may be longer than 60 days. So we're wanting us and wanted y'all to be involved in that the thinking process of the reason we're doing it this way, the reason we're doing it is for the safety and soundness of our community, okay? And so that's paramount, and it may change on how many can come and that type thing. But we want to keep business moving. And as y'all know, you're dealing with the very small business, but so much of our backbone is built on small business, okay? And so we're trying, the city is, at all opportunities, starting here and with planning in the city council. That's their goal, and that's why these meetings are a necessary part of the process, and we figure out how to keep it moving while at the same time we get as much public input as we can get on the process. So we'll keep doing it this way going forward. Next week we will have a 3 o'clock work session. We'll look at it. It may be 3:30. We may not need a full hour, because once we come in, you'll be on the camera. And so we'll try to judge how many we might have and not waste your time if it may be a 30-minute meeting and not an hour. So we'll play with that.
Not
We'll-
next
we'll-
week, next month.
Next month, I'm sorry, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry, next month.
If you want us next week, we'll.
Yeah, well, next month. So we'll resume that part of it. We didn't want to have both of those today for obvious reasons, I think. Give you a chance to see what the room's set up. We'll do all of them in here. There's no third floor meetings because we can't get the separation. So our meetings during our pre-meeting will be in this room, okay? And if you want to look at one, you can look at the planning, you can go online, and you can look at our meeting the planning department had. They planned, or they did the pre-meeting, and then they did the council meeting. I mean, the planning meeting in one. So it's all on one YouTube, okay? But other than that, I just want to make sure if y'all think through it and you got any feedback on it, let Bob know. But going forward, we'll do it this way, and it'll change. We'll tweak it, but we think it's a good process to keep business moving and keep our citizens involved in that process. So, Bob, anything you want?
We had talked about doing a new process. We're having to kind of rethink some of it, mainly because of the open meeting things and how we actually will deal with that to try to keep as many people from having to come to the meeting. That was kind of a goal. But we've got to keep in mind that there's a law that's written as well. And so in the spirit of the law as well, that we've got to keep going. So we may still do something like that, but we've got to figure out how to do it. A little under
Can we
the
do
law.
go-to meetings or WebEx and stuff like that, or is that allowed, or is that too
We
far
can-
out?
Well, this was kind of interesting, but
We can do, WebEx works, but it's a little more difficult in a,
Public.
because they have to have WebEx, and so we could use it, but what we're trying to do is keep it as simple as we can for the public.
right.
And so all of these meetings, all three of these meetings, they all will be on YouTube. So if you're going to do any of these open meetings, you know it's YouTube. You don't have to guess and wonder, well, is it going to be on Facebook or is it going to be on? It's all the same, it's consistent. If somebody comes and does the planning, they'll come and do it, and it'll all be consistent for them. So that's the primary reason we're using YouTube. It was already being done for the council meetings. Now, what we will do different next month, not next week, or tomorrow, as folks come in, we'll gather more information. We have a new form we want to use to gather more information along the lines that y'all ask them and get some of that ahead of time. We will, on the notice that goes out to the general public, it will be more specific as to how they can call in, okay, and how they can watch it.
We're going to rework our letter that we send out so that
Do
they
you have it
can
in
know
Spanish?
that they can watch it,
Yeah.
or they know that they can send us information via email.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just kind of a general notice that something's happening around them. Here it is,
Yeah.
they send a copy of the agenda. So we're going to rework that letter a little bit. And then, I believe also, we're going to do a little more legwork on talking with the actual person as to what they're doing. I know Nancy does a lot of that
Yes.
already when they come to the counter. One of the other clerks are there, they may not be able to because they maybe have several people there waiting for permits and whatnot. But we're gonna do a little more of that legwork and try to glean as much information that we can provide y'all with what's going on, so
I like
it
this.
will expedite the process a little further, so.
Mhm.
maybe-
But we cannot it's not legal for y'all to teleconference it in, if that was
Right.
any of your question. To have a forum, y'all have to physically be in the room.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all have
Yeah.
to be in the room.
I
Yeah.
think that was my question. I
I thought
appreciate
that was
it.
your
That's what I was,
question to you,
yeah.
But y'all, there has to be a forum.
We
in
have
the
to
room.
physically be here.
Right.
We
Okay.
haven't reached-
It's not like the Senate and, well, they
It's
can
kind
just
of nice
call
to
in.
put on
and-
like
Yes.
grown-up
Yes.
clothes
Yes.
today.
But we'll go down that path, and we will encourage individuals to call in, okay? Now, if they choose to do that, and the call in, we can set up like this, and they'll already have the information. Again, the goal, if they're comfortable with it, is not having folks come in an environment that's still unstable, okay? And that'll be their choice to do that. but we'll do that on the letter that goes to them and to the customers. The
And
folks
Bobby,
who may
if
have
you
an
need me
object.
to call some people and explain that if they're Spanish speaking, let me know.
Yeah, I had Sal today help me out.
Okay,
with
all right.
The last.
Oh, that's right, he works here.
Yeah,
I
he worked,
forgot.
he
forgot
helped
that
me
he-
out, but I do appreciate you
Yeah, you're
doing all
welcome.
this.
Yeah, I forget that
Absolutely.
he's
You
here.
would be lost last
Oh,
year,
it-
this year, every time.
No.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean,
I do like this.
That's
but
why you
it
finally
wasn't planned, but the way it worked out, I think, to see all of this is, I think is a positive for the folks. Thank you very much.
That's all it is.
But,
That's what I'm here.
but that's where we were. I just want to take 5 minutes to kind of go through this. We thought it'd be better to do it after, not spend an hour in a pre-meeting. Go ahead and do it this way. You'll get a feel for it. And next month, it'll start back. And but we will encourage folks to do it the streaming manner, if they're comfortable with it, and to call in or to.
Call in, yeah.
Well, what they'll do is, unless we get a better way to stack or to manage the call-in, well, like we did Mary Allen. I mean, you know, she did it great. We called her and it worked. So our preference today would be for us to call them and put them on the phone.
On the phone.
Okay. Or let them call in, something of that nature.
Yes.
So we'll work it out as time goes on. Bob, thank y'all. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
It wasn't as bad as I expected.
All right.
Good job, Bob.
We have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
A second?
Second?
Everybody okay with leaving?
Good.
Speak now if you want to stay.
Leave one at a time.
Bob, I need to talk to you.
You gotta walk out backwards.
Mr. Charles, we're going to have to talk about you leaving this to me in the current state of the world. I think I've been set
I
up.
knew it was coming.
I left the one page of my script that had the end sentence. I had to fumble through those.
I'm like, you know how many other times I was gonna do it? I was like, I'm gonna